Hello. I am really happy that you're here with me. I'm so excited to start this rebalance project. I've been excited about this concept and really thinking about it for an awfully long time. And I decided to delve deeper into it quite a while ago. And I started really reading. I read so much my eyeballs felt like they're going to fall out. They still do. And I thought, I wonder if there's any scientific or medical research about this whole concept of life balance. So I started looking into that. And most importantly, though, I talked to tons of people, asking them, what do you think? What do you think about this idea? What's your thoughts on the whole life balance thing? So putting all this information together, the research, all the reading I've done, all the talking to people is what this is all about. And I'm thrilled that you're here and that I get to share my info with you. One thing that I thought was fascinating was pretty much everyone I talked to said the same thing. And that was that we need to look at the big picture. And when we're looking at living a life of balance, it ultimately comes down to living with wholeheartedness and a life of passion, focused in the moment, in the here and the right now. It's not about having all our ducks in a row. It's not about keeping all the balls in the air. It's not about getting rid of every single dust bunny. It's about figuring out what's important to you so that you can live with clarity and passion all the time, so that it doesn't matter what's going on around us. We're there. We're focused. We're centered. It's awesome. There's an awesome author that I love, Danielle Laporte. She's from Vancouver. She wrote this fabulous book you might like called The Fire Starter Sessions. So one of the things Danielle says in that book is that wisdom comes from integrating the highs and the lows of our life. Then fulfillment is about living a life of balance regardless of what's going on around us, right? It doesn't matter what's going on around us if we're living our true self. And so we got to figure out what that is. And we need to get clear on who our true self is and what's really important to us. And as interesting as it is, once that starts to happen, we start to feel this centeredness and this feeling of balance. So that's what we're going to be talking about this month. Many different aspects of that. But it really starts with getting very clear on who you are and what's important to you. And in order to do that, we need to ask ourselves the questions, right? People who know me, my good friends, or people like you perhaps who followed my work for a while, know that I am all about asking the questions, and you should be too. I mean, think about it, right? As little kids, we're constantly like, little kids are always, why you do that, Mom? What's that for, Mom? Right? It's just ongoing all the time. And then as young adults, we're always asking ourselves really big, huge, important questions. Like, what do I want to do with my life? Or the big important question, how do I get that guy to really like me? Right? It's constant. But as adults, we tend to stop doing that. And I think the reason we stop doing that is because if we ask the questions and we get the answer, it may mean we might need to move on it. It might mean that there's something we need to change. So sometimes we just don't ask, right? No question, no change. We just keep the status quo, easy peasy. Except that it's not. It's not easy, because as crazy as it sounds, the quality of the question you put to yourself determines the quality of your life. Something like, what do I want to be known for at the end, right? That's a huge quality question that can really determine a lot of things. The thing is that a question actually will start to set a change in motion. It's amazing. And when you start to pay attention to this, you will see that it's true. But the thing is once you start asking yourself the questions, you need to listen to the answer. And sometimes we don't do that because the answer is so scary that we just slam the door on it. It's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I mean, I've been known to have arguments with the voice inside my head on numerous occasions, right? Say I'm working on a big project, and that inevitably has many, many bumps in the road. And so I'll be sitting in my morning contemplation, just chilling out, and suddenly, involuntarily, bam, pops into my head, you need to call big scary dude to do this really crazy thing where you got to step out of the box. And I mean, it's like, oh, we don't want to hear that. I'll say to myself, no, I'm not doing that. But deep inside, I know that that's exactly what I'm going to need to do in order to move forward. See, it takes practice. And I've had a lot of practice at asking and listening and doing. And once you start to get in the habit of doing that, it's a skill. It's a skill that you teach yourself. It's not some airy-fairy new age thing that you have to discover or that's a little bit out there. It's a skill that takes consistent practice over and over again. And once you start to do that, and what I mean by that is ask yourself questions and listen to the answers, whatever shows up, then you will see that these are magnificent guideposts that will lead you in the direction that you're supposed to go. And the listening involves paying attention to what shows up, usually involuntarily, in your mind, in your heart, in your gut, and in your environment. Pay attention to those clues around you. And that's your assignment for this week. Your assignment is to ask yourself the questions and pay attention to the answers and start to get in the habit of doing that. Okay, and if I will have emailed you, and it'll also be on our Facebook page, some examples of questions that I'm talking about. And you can do this in however you want. You can talk into your phone, just start talking away to yourself. You can start writing. Writing is a fabulous tool. Or just take some time quietly in personal introspection to see what shows up for you. Start to pay attention to what's going on in your daily life, because little things will drop in that you might otherwise ignore. And so our goal is about gaining clarity as to what's important to us so that we can use that as a pivotal centered ground point, or whatever you want to call it, this place of being, so that we have this greater sense of balance regardless of what's going on in our life. And this is a practiced skill. So we're going to get started on that. So pop on over to our Facebook page, leave us a message. Oh, we so badly want to hear from you. Yes, we do. Fire me off some questions. Speaking of questions, I'd love to hear yours. And then I'd be happy to talk about them on my next video or on our phone call together, or I'll email you back. All right? I want to hear from you and get going on doing some work. Ask yourself some questions and see what shows up. It's a hugely valuable tool. Thanks.